Tighten up those belts because it's time to go. Wheels up. Nobody mentioned it to me until I passed the sign called Raisin Canes. Just leave that front door wide open. Little
Where's the line, man?
Yeah. Obviously. I swear that has been in construction for the last 10 years. That's out there, which they spend just blue bucks making sure all their equipment's top notch. I got the Caniac combo down.
I would say that's good for Jim.
Welcome to Wheels Up Wednesday, Season 1, Episode 7. Here's Matt, I'm Spencer, and we're fresh off our trip from Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, we promised the podcast we'd go to In-N-Out, but turns out we went to Raisin Canes instead.
We upgraded.
I like me some chicken.
Yeah, Raisin Canes, that place never disappoints.
If you have the opportunity to go, why not?
And the cool thing is they made one here in, Las Cruces, I think.
Yeah,
so,
3 hours away. Is it worth the trip, though?
Some would say yes.
To some friends, it might be.
I'm not going to name drop anybody, but I do know two girls that drove all the way down there just to have some Caniac combos.
Okay, speaking of that, you just screwed up. Is it Caniac or Canic?
I think you would disagree with me, but I've always said it's Caniac because that's literally how it's spelled.
Right, and I've always said Canic. But I actually asked the lady at the register, what's the proper way to pronounce it, and she said Caniac. So
once again,
looks like I'm wrong.
When it comes to pronunciation, Spencer Hill up front.
Okay, that's fair.
One thing that I do want to talk to you about, though, Mick, is I actually ran a poll on my Twitter, which we've done this before with Whataburger.
Yep, not the first poll.
And not Whataburger, by the way. We
Water.
Decided that one already.
Right.
I ran another, though. Do you like to sit at a table or a booth when you go out to eat?
I would rather sit at a table.
Really?
Yeah, I would.
I don't have the exact number, but I think it was 7%.
Really?
That said that they agreed with you.
Oh, yeah, for table?
Yeah, that is not popular.
Well, I could get how it's not as comfortable, maybe because it's like a hard chair. But have you ever been to a restaurant where you go and you sit in a booth and you sink 3 feet down?
No.
No, I'm sure you have. Come on now.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, well, I can't...
Dude, how do you like going to a table when booths are so much more comfortable? Your ass doesn't fall asleep.
That's fair.
What?
That's fair, but I guess I've always... I guess I've always gone to a table. And they have cushion. It's not like you're sitting on... Well, yeah, there is wooden chairs.
Every chair... Yeah. I've never been to a restaurant where a chair was more comfortable than a table. Every time I go to a restaurant and the waiter's like, table or booth, it's booth. 100%.
Yeah.
And someone like you that picks table on purpose is a fucking sociopath.
Okay. I guess I can't really prove my point, but I've been to a couple booths before where it's just really uncomfortable. You're sitting at an awkward angle and you're eating your food like that, and it's just table all the way, man.
Where are you going to eat?
I don't know. I can't name a restaurant off the top of my head that I sink into, but there's been a couple.
That's just crazy to me. I really do not understand people like you that choose tables over booths. There's no reason.
Okay, so
and another thing that you do wrong is you go unsweet tea. Who the hell chooses unsweet tea over sweet tea? That's not a thing.
Cut calories, man.
Drink water. You're pretty much just pissing away anyway.
It's burnt water and it has caffeine, man. It tastes good.
It tastes terrible, dude.
Try a cup.
Oh, I have, and I spit it out right away because it sucked.
Back to the booth. Say you go to Blake's Whataburger. They don't have any booths. It's all tables. What you going to do there? You're going to take it to your car?
Yes, they do.
Blake's does not have.
Yes, they have booths.
Cushioned boots.
Boots and
Boots and cats.
Okay, I still would rather sit in their hard-ass booth.
Or Whataburger.
Booth, all the way.
I don't even think they have tables here.
I don't think they have tables either. That was a terrible example.
Okay, never mind.
It doesn't really matter because who goes to Whataburger sober anyway?
True. You're not looking to be comfortable.
I've never gone there and my first thought being, man, I really need to be comfortable for this meal.
That's fair.
I'm lucky I made it.
I'm not going to disagree there.
Back to Tucson, though. You know what was really on fire out there was Tinder.
It was, man. Holy hotties.
Yeah, shout out to U of A, because you guys got it going on.
Yeah.
That was impressive. I think it's kind of fun going on all these trips, checking out Tinder and seeing, like, what kind of people are out there.
Southwest.
I mean, obviously, it's Tinder, so I guess it's not, like, the best example of who's out there. But
compared to Albuquerque, we hardly swiped left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was hot. I mean, we even had... I damn near had Randy Irwin up there to try to swipe right. It was good, though.
You did, yeah.
It was impressive. And
I had one super like me, so... Have you ever had that?
I have not.
Yeah.
Can I see her? I never saw her.
Yeah, man. I mean, right now we're filming a podcast.
Well, I
got you.
Yeah. We got time.
Stalling.
Let me see. Go.
There you are. Her name is Tesla. Like the
Tesla,
car.
like the car.
Like the car.
Wow.
The car liked me.
My favorite part is no message back.
Well, I mean, give it a day, dude.
Dude, you don't.
Have you ever been super liked?
No.
Okay, can you talk shit?
Can I talk shit? I'm good at talking shit. Well, that's probably my favorite thing to do.
So let's just do a little roast session.
That's every day. Every day is a roast here.
That's fair.
We also tore up the gym.
Dude, Holiday Inn Express was not prepared for us.
Holiday Inn turned into Holiday Gains, baby. That was good, impressive. I think we actually have a short clip of what we were doing over there, so let's roll that real quick.
Yep.
So obviously we had a lot of fun out there in Tucson, tearing up the gym, or maybe lack thereof. Actually, my favorite part of that whole video was when I was beating the shit out of that ball.
The half ball? Yeah.
Yeah. I turn around, and it's one of my old crew chiefs from when I was doing my racing in California, and he just looked at me like...
Well, you're like mid-swing, and then you look over, and he's entering the door.
Yeah, and he's just like, "You angry, man?" Like, how do you explain that? I can't even explain that we were doing, like, a funny
It's better
video.
to be punching, like, a punching bag with gloves on, like, to get some anger out. But this was, like, a half ball you would use to, like, balance on.
Yeah. Probably wasn't, like, you know, the best way to exercise, but
for the gym
we had fun.
Looks like, I mean...
I had a good time.
Yeah.
Listened to a little bit of Gravy.
Gravy Train.
And, going over to Tucson, I mean, obviously we have a lot of fun stories out there, but the real reason we went down was to help out Jason with the Lucas Oil Modified Series.
Correct.
And everything was looking really, really good going into Saturday, Mick.
Looking good, yeah. We had to thrash a little bit before the main, but nothing like we haven't done before. And
yeah, that was a rough deal too, because it was a part that failed in the dash for cash, which
during the dash
we really didn't even need to run because it was just. I mean, it's one of those deals where you just kind of drop back if you aren't starting in the first row.
Right.
And you just use it as practice laps. And what happened was actually the radiator fan belt ended up breaking, and we really struggled to find a new one because Jason runs a different type than anybody else.
Turns out nobody else in the pits had a belt similar to his, so we had to exchange the whole assembly, power steering, and water pump too? No, just the power steering.
Yeah, pretty much we replaced everything on the front end of the motor.
The other motor back to that in a matter of 30 minutes or less.
Yeah, and a lot of help from the Tilburys too. Yeah. That was cool to see everybody jump in.
Yeah, everybody
big family out there.
And we got him out, though, before the main. We actually had about 10 minutes to spare, kind of catch our breaths and get our bearings straight for the main. But
unfortunately, not the main event that Jason was hoping for. I know he was super excited. Tucson, one of his favorite tracks, too, down there.
Right.
Ended up blowing up a motor just on lap 14.
After starting second row inside, third.
Yeah, and he was running really well, too, just cruising along. And just, it sucks when it's that early in the race and you end up having a big mechanical failure like that.
It's frustrating for sure.
And then, just to pour a little bit of salt on that wound, the freaking tow truck driver decided to crush the whole nose when he was trying to pick it up and drag it back to the pits.
And then he's sitting there for 20 minutes like, I can't get the car off the truck. Like,
it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, unfortunately, that wasn't the ideal weekend that everybody was looking for down there. But the NASCAR guys had a good time at the Bristol Motor Speedway, where it was a little bit warmer than Martinsville, but not by much. They still battled weather out there. The NASCAR Xfinity Series had the Fitzgerald Glider Kits 300 at Bristol, where Ryan Preece was able to capture his second career win, Mick.
Yep, win number 2.
And Justin Allgaier finishing second, Daniel Hemrick third, Elliott Sadler went fourth. Spencer Gallagher, good run for that driver in the number 23 Allegiant Airlines Chevrolet. Brandon Jones in the number 19 car finishing sixth with the most laps led at 106. Ran into a little bit of issues later on. But Tyler Reddick finishing seventh. Cole Custer eighth. Ross Chastain, great run for that JD Motorsports number 14. And Ryan Truex rounding out the top 10. Looking over to the points now for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Sadler leading just barely, though, over Daniel Hemrick, who's back by 6 points. Tyler Reddick just 14 points back. Justin Allgaier, fourth. Bell in the fifth position. Cole Custer, sixth. Ryan Truex, seventh. Spencer Gallagher, eighth. Jones, ninth. And Ryan Reed, 78 points back in that 10th position. Great racing, though, down there. For a Saturday race, and just really good battles throughout the whole track. Of course, this was a Dash for Cash race, which Ryan Preece ended up taking the overall winnings for that too. But the interesting thing that I find about those Dash for Cash races, Mick, is no Cup drivers allowed to compete.
Yeah, that's interesting. Why? Maybe they have an advantage?
Well, it's just a move that Xfinity wanted because they really want to shine light on their drivers that are up and coming.
Okay,
and their whole idea,
next generation.
Their whole idea is Xfinity Series names are made here.
Right.
So that's kind of just a deal that they made with NASCAR. Obviously, they've limited what the NASCAR Cup guys can do as far as racing in the Xfinity Series by quite a bit, and really cool opportunity for some younger drivers and some underfunded teams. In fact, like Ross Chastain, Spencer Gallagher, maybe not so underfunded, but someone who's very unfamiliar with a top 5 finishing position, able to have really good runs at cool racetracks such as Bristol Motor Speedway. I know they're going to be doing it again at Iowa Speedway later in the year. What do you think of a confidence boost? Do you think that is for those drivers?
It definitely, it encourages them and, probably sets them up for success for the next race and gives them a incentive to go and get that win.
Do you like having Cup drivers in the Xfinity Series, or do you think it makes for less of a race?
I thought it was cool. Obviously, they dominated, so they're going to be the show, but I thought it was cool. What do you think?
I really like the idea of having Cup drivers able to drive in the Xfinity Series because I think it's kind of bullshit, telling a Cup Series driver like Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Dillon, whatever, Harvick, that you can't compete in a series. Because at the end of the day, it's those big-name drivers that are bringing in the sponsorship dollars for those teams, allowing the younger kids and some pretty much grown adults that have never had a good shot at a solid race car, like Ryan Preece. I know he's really young still, but that's someone who's struggled quite a bit coming up through the ranks, and now he finally has...
He's sure made a name of himself.
He has a great opportunity now, running a couple races per year with Joe Gibbs Racing, and I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to be picked up with a Cup Series team here very soon.
Yeah, very, very soon.
Overall, though, great racing Saturday. Sunday, only had half the race played out.
Yeah, thinking we'd get a finish there. Nope,
not quite. Mother Nature had different ideas. That's got to be something that's so hard for drivers. Climbing in and out of their car. They must have done that 4 times Sunday alone.
Yeah, that would throw you off.
And then Monday, they did it again. It was in and out of the car. As a fan, do you think NASCAR made the right decision by calling it early? Or do you think they could have waited it out and ran that as a night race?
It's a tough decision. It really is. And when you're, I don't know, when you have all that pressure and all those fans there and television, you've got to make a decision. So
in television, that's a huge point
that
that you bring up because they control so much more than I think the average fan really understands.
So it's a lot of pressure on them to make a decision as quick as they can. So, I don't know. I think they could have waited and maybe gotten it done Sunday, but...
Then again, though, that's like a 3-hour wait for those fans in soggy weather.
For the track itself, extending it a day, you get more food sales, merchandise sales, and more people in and out the gates, right?
That's a good point. I didn't really think about that until just now,
well,
but I'm sure the NASCAR guys, obviously the higher-ups, have thought about that, and...
maybe that was a decision.
They did try, though. I think they did a really good job at letting the fans know. They moved up the race an hour early to on the original start date to try to let fans get the whole race in. Unfortunately, it didn't quite happen, but they made a really good move trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, I feel like they did an okay job.
Let's look at the results really quick, though, for the Food City 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch taking the win with a good old bump and run. Mick, the bump and run is back at Bristol Motor Speedway. A little bit of old Bristol coming back with that resin that they put down at the bottom of the speedway.
Yeah, a little stickiness at the bottom makes you stick that.
Stick it. Looking at full results, though, Kyle Busch taking the win away from Kyle Larson late in that race, who was the highest lap leader at 200 laps. Jimmy Johnson, good run for that 48 Lowe's team, finishing third. Ricky Stenhouse, talk about adversity, coming from the back to the front, to the back to the front, going around and getting a lot of damage, too, in the middle of that race, finishing fourth. Alex Bowman, great run for that driver in the number 88 car for Hendrick Motorsports. Eric Almirola, 10th. Harvick with his number 4 Jimmy John's car in 7th. Clint Boyer, obviously still hot off of a win in Martinsville. He got the 8th position. Joey Logano running 9th. And Ryan Newman, who looked really impressive there late in the going, ended up fading just a little bit, finishing in the 10th spot. Mick, you gotta feel for a driver like Ryan Blaney, who was out on lap 117, but he was in the lead when that happened.
Yeah, no, it's a tough break for sure. I do feel.
Yeah, getting taken out in the lead. Similar situation with Brad Keselowski, who won both stages and ended up having a part fail late in the going, wrecking out on lap 495, finishing in 23rd. Speaking of Brad Keselowski and his Ford, NASCAR just announced a little bit of news earlier this week.
Recently, they just announced that they're going to bring the Mustangs back into the series. How exciting.
Yeah, no, that's a very cool opportunity.
Being a Ford fan, I think that's hella cool. That's the first time Mustang has entered the series. They've had Tauruses and Fusions and even, Thunderbirds before, but never Mustangs, so that's really exciting.
First time for the Cup Series to experience Ford Mustang.
Have you seen their new body?
I did get a little bit of a picture.
Just a little clip of the front.
From
that's all
NASCAR. I'll see if I can bring it up here. And really, it looks badass, Mick. Let's take a quick look over at the point standings for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Now, after the race number 8 of 36, Kyle Busch up front in the standings there as far as the actual points go, with Joey Logano, Harvick up there, Clint Boyer, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Truex, Hamlin, Larson, a couple more names to talk about there within the top 16. Paul Menard sitting right at that cutoff spot too, with Jimmy Johnson, Stenhouse, Byron, and AJ Allmendinger all looking to capture that last playoff position.
Yes, sir.
Why don't we take a look at Verizon IndyCar Series, Mick? Very exciting race down in Long Beach for the Grand Prix.
That was. A lot of penalties given to, overall, everybody.
Yeah, no, everybody seemed to have at least a little bit of adversity throughout the race.
Put together a clean race.
Of course, you had...
Rossi did.
Yeah, Rossi ended up taking the win in that one with his number 27 Napa car.
Mm-hmm.
He did an impeccable job all weekend, though, down there.
He did. Hats off.
Feel for Robert Wickens, who ended up 22nd after some mechanical failures. He was on a roll leading up to this race, making a huge splash down in Phoenix. Unfortunately, Bourdais also very quick all weekend, but ended up getting turned late by Jordan King. Mick, why don't you run down the results real quick?
Yeah, Will Power finishing second in his Chevrolet, Ed Jones third in his Honda, Zach Veach fourth, also in his Honda, and Graham Rahal, he had a little turnaround. He had to go down pit road after.
Yeah, ended up having a penalty.
That was right on the start, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very early in the race.
Apparently his brakes locked up, but he ended up finishing fifth in his Honda. So
yeah, having to come down pit road for an avoidable contact penalty,
right.
Losing a lot of ground, unfortunately, but he was able to rebound for a really, really strong finish.
Yeah, that is strong. So the standings here, we have Rossi in first, obviously. No big shock there. Newgarden in second. Graham Rahal third. Sebastian Bourdais in fourth. And James... Bourdais?
I've never heard it pronounced like that, Mick. Holy shit.
How would you pronounce that?
It's Sebastian Bourdais, buddy.
It's like Grand Prix. P-R-A-X.
Grand Prix.
Grand Prix. And
shout out Cody Dons.
James Hitchenscliff in fifth.
I don't know if I should give you
Cody
all the
Dons
foreign
would
names.
also say it like that. So
that'd be James Hinchcliffe in
that's what
fifth,
I said.
not Hinchenscliff.
There's no Ian in there.
No, not quite. It's okay. Reading hard, Nick.
You just see extra words pop in when you're trying to read it off. So
a little bit easier. Go to some American names, at least for the most part. Monster Energy AMA Supercross had round 14 in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the U.S. Bank Stadium.
Yeah, the 250 main, we had the 3 races and overall.
Yeah, this was the last race of the Triple Crown Series.
Yeah. Jeremy Martin took the first place, finishing third in the first, third in the second, and first in the third. Zach Osborne second, finishing fourth, first, and second. Jordan Smith rounded up the top 3, second, and third. No shakeup in the points there in the 250 class. And
I want to talk about Austin Faulkner, though, really quick.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the first race, doing great. I don't know what the hell happened to him in race 2 and 3, though. Going down 4 times in main event number 2.
Yeah.
And again, hard hit for him in main event number 3.
It seems like that first hit really shook him up and got him off track, and it was just fall after fall.
You just have some of those nights sometimes, too, where a little event... I've had it plenty of times, too, in the micro, where you have just something little that happens, and it almost ruins the whole night.
It affects everything else
It just messes up your psyche, and that's exactly what I think happened to Austin Faulkner.
Yeah, tough break for him. Going into the 450 main, Eli Tomac, does that surprise you?
It does not surprise me.
Finishing first in the first round, fourth in the second, and third in the third round. Jason Anderson second, sixth, and first. And Muskin finishing third, finishing seventh in the first round, first in the second, and second in the third.
Yeah, Muskin, really interesting story there because he struggled a lot in main event number 1, and it looked like the same for main event number 2 until all of a sudden he just shot out of a cannon and started picking up spots left and right, really came alive late in the going. Main event number 2, though, that was not all that happened because Jason Anderson was a big story in that one.
Oh, yeah. Looks like he got a little penalty there trying to cut the track.
And I would say that's a big penalty, Mick.
Yeah.
It's very borderline, though. I know he's been on social media all week trying to explain his point of view of it. Tough call for the officials there.
What would you call? I know you saw it, but as far as did he gain time?
To me, I feel like he entered the track in a safe manner. And I really don't think that he...
entered faster than he...
I don't think that he gained anything by going off the track there.
Tough call.
He obviously lost ground. He did not gain a position, which in the rule book it says you are not allowed to gain position when you do go off track.
Right.
And you have to enter the track as careful as possible and as safe as possible. And I feel like he did a really good job at covering all those bases. Again, though, tough call. Again, that's your points leader, too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those deals where I think Supercross has to make something.
Yeah, and I'm sure
happen.
they can't think about it, over time. It's kind of like you need to know now. So.
Mm-hmm. But Anderson coming back strong, winning main event number 3.
Yeah, I thought Muskin was going to get that.
Great battles, though. What a cool track, huh?
Yeah, cool track. Definitely challenging. I mean, a lot of people took spills, but not like muddy like it was last weekend. That's for sure.
It's a big turnaround. Of course, blizzard outside there in Minneapolis, but inside the action was hot all weekend with great races and a really cool opportunity for all those fans to see the last round of the Triple Threat Series.
Yeah.
No World of Outlaws this weekend, unfortunately. They could not outbattle the rain at Tri-State Speedway. But what I want to introduce right now, Mick, is a new segment that we have here on Wheels Up Wednesday. We're going to be calling it the Wheels Up Watch List.
Wheels Up Watch List.
And we're going to kind of highlight all the races that are coming up this weekend for everybody that's watching, so that when you are done watching this podcast, which I hope you've done throughout the entire season, you're able to see what you want to watch this weekend so you can stay up to date with what we've been talking about.
Yeah, we'll try to present this at the end of our podcast, so it's fresh in your mind what's going on this weekend, maybe some things going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A lot of racing happening this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and read that off now. We have the Camping World Truck Series.
That's going to happen May 4th. Of course, that's not this weekend, but that's their next race.
Right, they're at Dover. And next, Xfinity Toyota Care 250 is at Richmond this weekend. That'll be Friday, April 20th. And we have some racing under the lights over at Richmond for the Monster Energy Series.
Back under the lights at Richmond. That is going to be a really cool race.
I always like those night races.
The night races, there's just something about them.
Yeah.
I got to agree. The day racing at Richmond was really, really good the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I like that there was slipping and sliding going on, but there's something about the night races, especially at these short tracks, that's just so cool. I mean, it just has that badass feeling, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. So that'll be Saturday, April 21st. We have IndyCar, the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama, April 22nd. NHRA is going to be going to Texas for their Spring Nationals in Baytown. That'll be April 20th through 22nd. And World of Outlaws.
A lot of racing coming up for them. Of course, their rain out in Tri-State going to be affecting their weekend schedule just a little bit this weekend.
Their makeup date is April 22nd. That'll be after the race in Montana, which is April 21st. And to start that all off, we're going to Arkansas for...
Should be a really good show Friday, April 20th in West Memphis there for the World of Outlaws. And then Peevely, great track, I-55, tough one on the schedule. A lot of people have that one circled as a good race. And, of course, the makeup race at Tri-State Speedway in Indiana following that on Sunday.
Yeah, in the ARCA series, they'll be going to Salem Speedway in Salem, Indiana. That'll be April 22nd. And in Supercross, to finish everything off, going to Foxborough, Massachusetts. That'll be April 21st. So tune in.
Yeah, really cool idea that we had here with the watch list. Hope everybody appreciates that.
Wheels Up Watch List.
The Wheels Up Watch List. List. Well, Mick, what do you got going on this weekend, man? I think you're picking up the travel bags once again.
Picking up the travel bags. Does it ever stop?
It never stops, I don't think.
Going to Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am actually probably...
Not New Mexico?
No.
Not Las Vegas, New Mexico? I hear that place is badass.
I don't really care for Las Vegas, New Mexico too much. Not a lot going on. They don't have In-N-Out, so what's the point?
Yeah, well, what are you doing in Vegas this weekend?
Legend car racing.
Back to the legend car at the Bull Ring. I like it.
My boy Gary Wegner is going to take that first win of his career. So
the Wagonator.
The Wagonator.
I made Jason a side bet today, and
what's that?
He is going to be doing some interesting stuff if Gary does pick up that first win.
Does it involve a taser or?
I'm not going to give anything away.
Can you give me a hint?
It's
just like a vague hint.
No.
Give me a vague hint.
A vague hint would be he is going to be giving me money.
Oh, that's a dumb bet. I thought you were going somewhere else with that, giving cash.
Well, maybe there's more, Mick.
There's more. All right. Yeah, but in Vegas this weekend, I think Jason's going to race his little legend car down there, too.
Always fast down there.
See if he can't pick up another.
He showed me those trophies for this weekend. Those things look cool.
Yeah. Actually, last year they had the same trophies, but when they shipped it in, all of them were broken.
Oh, really?
Either the hat or the barbed wire or something of every trophy was broken. So they
that's a
glued
bummer.
it together and try to make it as good as possible. They are pretty badass.
Yeah, very cool. Me, I really don't have much going on this weekend. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
And we're out. No, I could have went to Dallas for Michaela's volleyball, but I think I'm going to end up staying home and maybe, I don't know, I'll figure something out. We'll hear about it next week.
Laying on the couch, petting the dog.
Probably not a whole lot going on.
No, that's cool. You'll figure something out.
Yeah, but that's about all the time we have for today's show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in once again here for episode 7 of Wheels Up Wednesday. Again, thank you guys so much for all the love you've been showing us thus far. Keep on following our Facebook page, Wheels Up Wednesday. Like and share all of our posts from there. And on our YouTube account, every subscription that we get on there is helping us out quite a bit here as we grow and moving forward. So if you guys can keep on hitting that subscribe button down below, that'll help us out a lot. For Matt Omick, though, I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm Spencer Hill. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next Wednesday.